So hi, everybody. Just wanted to welcome everyone to today's presentation on protecting yourself from identity theft. Thank you all for joining us. As you know, identity theft is something that can significantly impact your financial well-being. And with the news every day about cyber attacks, we think it's an important topic now more than ever before. Today, we're fortunate to have a couple of our partners from New York Life Mainstay Investments joining us. Anthony Gaddiosi is an advisor consultant, and he helps our team by sharing in-depth investment knowledge. We also have Scott Lanigan, who is the director and advisor consultant of defined contribution retirement plans for New York Life. Scott's going to be speaking today, and Scott is responsible for investment-only retirement plan business development and the delivery of New York Life investment services for advisors all across the country. Today in the presentation, we're going to speak about the various ways that the scammers try to get your information, along with how to protect your personal information, some steps that you can take to reduce the risk of identity theft, and why identity theft is on the rise, and what you can do to avoid becoming a victim. We encourage everyone to ask questions and participate during the discussion. If you want to ask any questions, you can use the raise hand feature, and then we will unmute you. So you should see the raise hand feature on your computer or on your phone. It's a little picture of a hand. So just hit that. We'll be able to see that go up. If you have any personal questions that you don't want to ask during the presentation and you want to stay anonymous, or you just want to talk to us about it, please feel free to email me during the presentation or after, and we'll get answers for you. We're also going to be recording the presentation, and it will be available after the call. So we'll share that with everyone once it's made available. And without further ado, we're going to welcome our speakers, Anthony Gaddiosi, Scott Lanigan. Thank you guys for joining.
John, I just wanted to step in just real quick and just say thank you for the opportunity to be on today. You've been a great partner. Everyone, again, my name is Anthony Gaddiosi. I'm with New York Life Investments. I'm a director and advisor consultant covering all of New Jersey for Commonwealth. We've been actually doing this presentation on identity theft a number of times, and it's very topical. And I'm glad that we're able to bring this to you today. Hopefully, you're going to get some information. If you have any questions, we're going to keep this, where you can kind of jump in and ask any question. We'll keep it very kind of open today. So please, with that, Scott, Scott's been with us for 18 years at New York Life Investments. He does a great job around the country talking this presentation and others around this, topic matter with plan participants, plan sponsors from 401k plans. So without any further ado, Scott, thanks for being on today, and we can take it from here.
Thanks, Anthony. Thanks, Anthony. Thanks, John. And good afternoon to everybody on the line. I appreciate the opportunity to get a chance to present to you today and talk about a topic, as John very well laid out, is just very important to all of us right now, and will only continue to grow as a problem that we unfortunately have to deal with, as this is a serious threat to our own personal savings, wellness, etc. And we're going to go through some ways that you can protect yourself. If you look at the presentation of the name of the presentation, identity theft, prepare, protect, prevent. That's what we're going to focus on. My background is not in technology. I've worked in the financial industries for about 25 years, and basically 20 of those have been in the retirement plan world, the 401k space. And what you might be wondering is, why is someone who has sold 401k plans and investments giving a presentation on identity theft? And the reason for that is we've had other presentations around identity theft, because the 401k world, meaning the companies that you work for, the financial institutions that manage 401k plans, the investment firms, they have in the last 10 years been a large focus for professional hackers to come in and try to hack into that 401k plan and steal as much information as you can. Now, you might be thinking, well, why would somebody want to steal information from a boring old 401k plan where you're just putting a salary deferral in? Sure, the accounts grow. You might be able to steal some money. The answer there is the same reason why people say, why do robbers rob banks? Because that's where the money is. When we have things like the companies that you work for, the financial institutions that you use, They have all of your information. You've shared that with them already. It was necessary. So that would be your names, your date of birth, your social security numbers, your home addresses, your passwords, etc. And that's what often the professional hackers are looking to steal, because then they can use that information to harm you, to help themselves, to sell that information. Now, it's very hard to start off with. It's very hard, even if we had someone on the line who had a high degree of proficiency in technology, to tell you that we can absolutely stop this, or that you, in our presentation, we use the term protect, that you can prepare and protect this from happening. The odds are you can't fully do that, but the best thing you can do and what we want to cover today is that you can have a plan, and that plan is what can help you if and when there is a problem. As John said, as Anthony said, if anyone has any questions, please use the raise hand feature on this. You can hit that at any time you'd like. Please feel free to jump in if you have questions, comments, concerns, or we can cover it at the end. But if anyone has something they want to add, question, please don't hesitate. We want this to be as almost informal as we can and conversational. So identity theft is just that. It's the fraudulent acquisition to use a person's personal or private identifiable information, usually for financial gain. That personal identifiable information, PII, keep that in mind. That is the main bogey for when criminals are looking to steal your information. As I started with, that is your name, your date of birth, your social security number, your driver's license number, your mother's maiden name, your address, your email information, financial information. Any of this information that can be used to steal your personality, to steal your credit information, and in a lot of cases, open fraudulent accounts. Credit cards are the quick and easy ones. If somebody can open up a fraudulent credit card in your name with your information, they can run up that credit card as quickly as they can. And even if you have ways to try to prevent this, by the time you're notified that another account was opened in your name, there can be damage done. So that personal identifiable information is sort of the holy grail for what most criminals are looking to steal. And in a lot of cases, I started with larger financial institutions, 401k plans, companies. A lot of times that information is looked to be hacked and sold in bulk. So they come in and steal as much information as they can. I carry out the crime, but then I sell it to John and he sells it to Anthony and it goes down the line. So it's a very scary situation to know that once your information is stolen, it can be out there on the dark web. It can be available for somebody to acquire and to use again and again and again, no matter how vigilant you are with trying to protect yourself. Identity theft's on the rise. I think this slide is a really good slide, but it also understates things. Keep in mind, these are reported cases. Over a 5-year period from 2018 to 2023, the number of reported cases in the US by consumers having their identity theft stolen more than doubled. These are only reported cases. I would suspect that these numbers are easily twice as high and on the rise. So again, we talked about this being timely. This is something that we have to deal with. The internet has created an easier way for criminals to steal information, and technology is being, these professional organizations that look to steal your information, they're using technology to continue to grow and try to find new ways to do that. So this is on the rise and something we're just always going to have to deal with. It's not a set it and forget type of situation. For our presentation, we're going to categorize identity theft into 2 ways: true name and account takeover. True name is just that. They use your personal information, your name, in my case, Scott Lanigan, all my personal identifiable information, my name, my date of birth, my social security number, etc., that they've stolen. And in this case, maybe they want to open up credit cards, fraudulent cell phones, checking accounts, use your information to get additional medical treatment. There's a variety of ways this information is stolen. The other popular way this is done is through account takeover. And this is where they haven't actually stolen all your information, or maybe they have access to it, but they're taking over your accounts. They're going into your brokerage account, your IRA account, your 401k account, your bank account, your health account, and they're misusing that information. Maybe they're taking withdrawals from your account. They've gone in and changed your mailing address so that a couple of checks come out of your brokerage account, your financial account, and you catch up with it on the next statement. That money's already gone, and good luck trying to find it. Now you have to worry, is my information going to get stolen or hacked again? Do they still have access to my account? Sure, I've changed my password, but is there another way to get into your account? It's a pretty scary situation. And again, when you think about the companies that you work with, the places where your personal identifiable information has been used, All it takes is someone to hack into one of those companies, one of those institutions, and they might have access to this information and might be able to misuse your information. There's different types of identity thefts. The most common really is going to be along the lines of, financial identity theft and identity cloning, where they're trying to steal your information or take over your accounts like we just talked about. But some of these are on the rise, and it's very necessary that you're vigilant with some of this. The first one is definitely on the rise, why we see that the numbers are still low, but this is tax-related identity theft. And what we mean by this is your personal identifiable information, again, is stolen. Somebody goes in and in January or February, they file a fraudulent tax return on your behalf and they receive your return. Now you go to file your return a month later and it gets flagged as being a duplicate. Now you have multiple problems. Now you've had your identity stolen, you've had your return stolen, and now you have problems with the IRS. So that's probably a hat trick of things that you don't really want to have to deal with, but this is definitely on the rise, even though the numbers are low. The tip here is that file your taxes as soon as possible, as soon as you have the information, as soon as you can work with your financial advisors, your accountants. If you do this on the sooner, as opposed to waiting until the end, you probably eliminate the chances of this, even though it is slim. What also is on the rise, medical identity theft. We know healthcare is a major problem in this country with the cost. We talk about, how much money you need to save for retirement, how much of that is going to be spent in healthcare, what your current plan covers, who has coverage, who doesn't. Well, what we're seeing is a lot of people are trying to steal your personal identifiable information and your healthcare information, in some cases to sell it, but in a lot of cases they can use this information to get medical treatment that they weren't authorized for. Now, you're potentially on the hook for any copays on that, but it also can affect the medical treatment that you're currently getting, whether it's prescriptions, ongoing conditions that you have, that now, one of the big health insurance companies is saying, hey, we see you had this other procedure. You can't have both at the same time, and this could delay something that'd be very important to you. I mean, what's more important than our health? So again, keep an eye on your healthcare records, what information is being used, what you're billed for. I know those copays come in, hot and furious sometimes, and you just want to keep up and pay them. Take a look at it. Open the envelope. Make sure this is, the correct amount and something that you had done. Child identity theft is a lower number theft, but one that is very interesting. Now, you figure most children don't have that much in personal identifiable information. You probably filed for a Social Security card for your children when they were born or shortly thereafter. They have their name. As they get a little bit older, my 9-year-old, she's got an email address so she can play games with her friends. They have some information. So there might not be that much you can do with this information, but you can carry out some fraudulent activity. And the key here is we see thieves are starting to target this information because they don't think it'll go noticed that quickly. Because again, how often is a child checking a bank account? They may not have one. It may be under your name, or they even checking mail. So this might not be something that you see right away, but slowly builds over time. Senior identity theft is very scary and very much on the rise and will continue to grow. A lot of this deals with healthcare and medical information. Now, seniors, we got a question. Somebody to admit. Okay, sorry about that. As we know, a lot of seniors, they do go to the doctor. When you go to the doctor, what's one of the things you have to do? You have to verify your information. I mean, the doctor's office is one of the last places where it feels like you constantly have to show like Social Security numbers and provide this information. So what we're seeing hackers are doing is they're targeting seniors, and often they can do this by phone, by email, to try to intimidate and say that this was for your medical procedure, this was for your doctor's office visit. And if you don't provide this information, they're basically bullying you into providing this information. You're going to have a problem. So not to pick on, but the seniors may panic a little bit and might not be as up to date on some of the most common scams. And they're a little embarrassed. They don't want to have a problem when they go to the doctor, so they're willing to share this information, pay off a bill that they didn't have, provide their Social Security number, and then they don't realize that they've actually, in some ways given away their information. They're not aware of the scamming methods that are going on. If, you're taking care of seniors, or if you're a senior yourself, keep an eye on everyone. Make sure that, their medical bills, whether it's or their personal identifiable information, see how it's being used, because we don't want them being taken advantage. Criminal identity theft is not that common, but it is an interesting one. It's where someone has actually stolen your information. They get arrested for a crime and they provide your information. So let's backtrack that a little bit. Let's say they've stolen all of my personal identifiable information. They've been able to go to, say, motor vehicles and get a fraudulent driver's license. And here's Scott Lanigan, who's from New Jersey, living in Wyoming, and they have all my information and they get arrested. They provide the police department, whoever it is, all the information. Now that's on my record because it's my social security number, it's my driver's license, it's my information, and I have to sort all this out. It's not the most common. Again, when you think about people's identifiable information being stolen in large blocks and then sold on the dark web, that's where some of this could come in. Some criminal might want to find a new identity. Financial identity theft is kind of what we talk a lot about. They're using your information for credit cards, telephone services, check cashes, merchandising, leasing cars, apartments real quick where somebody wants to get in and out with that identifiable information, and you're notified about it a week to 30 days and there's nothing you can do. You're either on the hook for that information, you're fighting those charges, you're calling the credit monitoring services, credit cards, whoever it might be to retract that. But now that's on you and you're trying to figure out what happened. Identity cloning is similar to the criminal identity effect, is that they're using your identity to go about their life, go about their business, and in whatever situation they're using it, it's not fair to you because you don't want two of you and your information out there, again, opening probably fraudulent lines of credit, whatever it might be, they've stolen that information, and that could be very damaging to you as they're creating a new life down the line. The techniques, I mean, some of them we'll see are as old as dumpster diving and shoulder surfing. These aren't new. This isn't the dawn of technology. Somebody goes through your garbage and finds your information. That's not a great criminals organization. That's probably just taking a chance that they were able to steal and find some information. I know when we were growing up, we were always told, cut up your credit cards and put one piece of it in the upstairs garbage, one outside, wait a couple days, continue to do those type of things. Shred all of your documents. Shred those pre-approved credit cards that you get that somebody could easily steal and use and open up a line of credit and have that credit card sent to a PO box before you even know it. You have to be vigilant. This is the prepare part of this. This is the part that comes on us. It's unfortunate that we're dealing with this, but you have to be vigilant. Shoulder surfing. You're on the subway, you're on the bus, you're in the motor, you're looking at your email, you're looking at your mail. All of your information is right there for someone to potentially steal, or at least steal part of it and then go on and target. You're at motor vehicles. I know, most of us are probably based in New Jersey or in the area. In New Jersey, you have to have a certain amount of ways to validate your identity when you go to the motor vehicles. So you show up with your driver's license, your social security number, your data, your birth certificate, public service notice, and now you have your points that verify who you are. Guess what? If somebody's hanging around motor vehicles and they're trying to steal this information, if you're out there, waving it around or not protecting it or having it in a folder, that's just an easy opportunity for someone to steal your information. Be vigilant. While we talk a lot about how this is a high-tech world where these actions are being carried out, there's also the low-tech ones, again, like the shoulder surfing and the dumpster diving. Phishing and the spam are the two biggest, by far. Phishing is so easy. They're just, these professional hackers are going to send email and contact one after another, and you're going to keep deleting them. And all they're waiting for is one person to click on it and open a link and do something that could damage their servers, damage your system, give them the ability to hack into your system, launch malware into your system. This is where the larger organizations are in play. A lot of us, for our businesses, Anthony and I mentioned we work for New York Life, a very large company. We're tested. We get emails at work that we're not supposed to open. And if we open, you get a note from HR. And, you can laugh a little bit in shame, but you should be better than that. You should be able to realize something's not right here. I'll delete it. Keep an eye on those emails and the spam that's coming to you. I know it's relentless. And that's the part that makes it very hard, is that it constantly comes in. And they're able to replicate emails that seem like they should be something you should be receiving. So now you've already clicked on it. Delete it, block it, report it, keep an eye on your credit if you think you've actually clicked on anything that you should. False advertising and job opening. I'm just going to jump down a few slides. This is very much on the increase. And what we're seeing here is that false advertising for jobs and property rentals. Something is listed online, whether it be, Facebook, any of these sharing sites, and you say, hey, that's a good deal. We didn't plan a summer vacation this year and we can get in the Outer Banks, in a couple weeks at a big house, and it's a lot less than we thought. And I only need a $500 deposit with my credit card. So you enter that information in, you invite your friends, your family, we're all going to head down there and have a good time. You know where I'm going with this. There is no house. There is no rental agreement. You just gave somebody, in a scheme that seemed too good to be true, it was, access to your credit card, your information. And even if they only take the 500, they still took you for the 500. And now you have to deal with the fact that, you're embarrassed. You're planning a big vacation with your family. This is on the rise, especially with property rentals, not just vacation, but even apartments. The same thing goes with job openings. While you might think, you apply for a job, you're going to have a formal interview, whether that be initially online or you go to the location. We live in a virtual world now. If anything, COVID and only increased that, where you're not always sure who you're dealing with. So it's not that hard for someone to replicate a job opening that, again, might be right up your alley, might be something you want. Sure, the company's based in California, but you're going to stay here in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania area and work remotely. And you filled out that job application and you know what went on there: your name, your date of birth, social security number, your address, your email address, etc. Information, private information for background information on your spouse. It's terrible, but all this information can be stolen. This is one I think that a lot of people say they probably wouldn't fall for, but you'd be surprised. We're moving pretty quickly now with some, job placements and interviews and ways to connect with people. Be vigilant and be careful. So again, types of identity theft, the credit card is really the first one because it's the quickest and the easiest. And, throw all credit card into that. It's not just, picking on anyone like a Visa, MasterCard, American Express. If anything, those firms have actually been very good at trying to defend their clients. They're very good. If you report fraudulent charges to them, they want to work with you because this is, it's not a full-time job for them, but it might as well be because they know they're at the brunt of this. The credit card fraud to think about also is, oh, that time you went into, you were doing some back to school shopping with the kids and you went to Macy's and you signed up for a Macy's card because it was 20% off. Are you monitoring that account? You got the 20% off, you paid your bill. If you paid it within 90 days, there was no interest charges, you were happy. So you don't even look at that mail. You don't even look at the emails when they send you. Well, what if someone stole that information? Quick, easy. They buy 4 leather jackets. They're going to sell them online anyway. There's nothing you can do about it. It's done. Now you're fighting it out with some of these stores about who used your information and what happened. You have to monitor all your other accounts. Bank account fraud is another big one that's on the rise. We see it at 11% now. Again, with online banking, a world that is very comfortable and quick and easy and used to doing that, doing all your banking on your phone. It's pretty easy to open an account, and once somebody has stolen all your identifiable information, sure, that bank is going to send you a 2-factor authentication code, but they're going to send it to the number that I provided them after I've stolen all your information. We have to monitor all of our accounts and be careful where our information is being used. The warning signs, again, this is going to come on us. You notice withdrawals from your bank account that you didn't make. Did I make it? Did my wife make it? Do we want to have a conversation about that? I don't really remember a $50 fee, but it's possible I did. I'm not quite sure. I don't always remember every time you go to the ATM or take money out of your account. What you're going to find is when people steal your information, and especially if they're trying to affect your credit or your banking account, they're going to start small. They might start with a small charge, a charge that you will not notice. And that's the idea. You didn't notice it. And it went through. Now they can move on to a larger charge, because by the time you notice that one, it's going to be too late. The transaction has already occurred. So even if your bank flags it, even if you flag it with your bank, I should say, even if you begin to address it, it's already happened. You have to go through and look at that information. We talked about criminals potentially changing your mailing address so that they could steal your information. You stop receiving bills, financial statements from some pieces of mail containing sensitive information. Hey, I'd like to not receive bills. That would be great. The companies that are sending you bills, do not stop sending you bills. If you don't get a bill that month from someone you normally do, there's a problem, because A, you probably have a balance due, and B, you want to look into it. Was this a situation where I was hacked, or was it a situation that was lost in the mail? Either one could be the case, probably lost in the mail more possible, but you can't assume that. You find false accounts on your credit report. We'll talk a little bit about credit reports. It's very important to be monitoring them, looking at them. Again, conversations, I think it's important to have, with spouses, people you share credit reports with, is that, is this me? Is this my wife? Did we open this? I don't want to question. She probably did that. No big deal. Have a conversation around it. Make sure you know what your credit is being used. I think that, the next bullet, being rejected from your health plan for medical conditions. I talked about medical theft being on the rise. This could be this would be a pretty quick red flag if, you've been having a normal treatment or normal procedure for a period of time and now this is not available. Really, the bullet points on here, I don't think I need to read them all. These are the things that you have to do. This is, again, part of the, maybe not prepare, but this is the protect side of things, where you are, or even the prevent side of it, where you are monitoring your systems, because if there's a problem, the sooner you catch it, the better off you will be. It's going to take time to rectify the fact that your information has been stolen. You don't know where it was stolen, when it was stolen, how it was stolen, who else has it, what else was stolen. But you have to start, and the sooner you know, the better, because it's not going to be a good time. It's not going to be fun having to comb through this. It's going to hurt. Please be diligent. That's really the best part that we take out of this presentation, is that you want to have a process around what you're going to do if this happens. And being aware of the different ways you can be hacked and being aware of the different warning signs is probably the biggest part of that, because then you can try to get your life back on track and try to get your credit back on track.